Corey Ward, and right now I'm a full-time musician, grinding hard and working hard on everything.
You could not love me better, and I want you to move on, 'cause I'm already gone. I'm already gone. Remember all the things we wanted, and all our memories, they're haunted. We were always meant to say goodbye.
Absolutely amazing. And where are you based out of right now?
Right now I'm based out of Hartsville, South Carolina, a little small town. It's actually where I grew up. I've been traveling everywhere, but based back there for now.
So do you travel out of there to like different areas in the South, or do you go across country?
Yeah, a little bit of everywhere. Maybe a month and a half ago, I was in LA, and then flew back and had one day of rest, and we did from South Carolina to New York, little tour. So a little bit of everywhere, but main gigs right now are in the Southeast area.
Is it just you, or are you traveling with a group? Do you have like a manager that goes with you?
It varies. Sometimes it's acoustic shows, just me, but also it's sometimes myself and a band, some of my friends that come along under my name, and we go play gigs, full band, and rock it out. So it's been a long journey. So, it all kind of started differently. To be honest, when I moved to North Carolina maybe 7 years ago, if I'm correct, we all kind of worked at a church together. And that's how we all met, and we became really close friends. And then we all left that church, but stayed close friends. And they're all great musicians, great people. And, we wanted to do a little more music, so we started as kind of a cover band. And then that's when the voice started happening with me, COVID, all these things, in that year. And once I got back, we started hitting it more under my name and writing songs and recording and playing that way. They've been my ride or die.
Remember all the things we wanted, now all our memories, they're haunted. We were always meant to say goodbye. Even with our fists held high, it never would have worked out right. We were never meant for do and die. I didn't want us to burn out. I didn't come here to hurt you. Now I can't stop. And I want you to know it doesn't matter where we take this road, someone's gotta go.
To see several of your clips from The Voice, it is absolutely amazing. You have a very full voice. I just love the intonation.
Yeah, so I'm the lead singer, and I play acoustic guitar, and then I have normally 2 electric guitars and a drummer, and we also have tracks, so that's where the bass comes in and some of the keys and stuff like that. So we run clicks in our ears and have tracks to back us, so it sounds really big and full and gives a really good show.
When you're singing, if you're saying you have tracks and all of that, who helps create the tracks for your music?
So he's my friend. He's one of my guitar players, but he also the covers that I put out on Spotify and iTunes and all those platforms. He also helped track and record and mix and master. So he's kind of a catch-all. His name's Stevie Benz. Great dude, extremely smart. And without him, I probably wouldn't be able to do a lot of it because he handles all the tech stuff that I'm not that great at. So yeah, Stevie Benz, he's the one that helps with that.
of course, I'm going to want to highlight The Voice. How did you feel getting ready to be a contestant on that show?
You know, I felt all of the emotions. So, to be completely honest, I didn't watch the show that much from the get go, but my family always did, and they would always, back in the day, say, "You should do something like this. You would do great on it." And I was always like, "Nah, I won't do that." And but then, to get pretty deep quickly, but it was just what happened. My mom that year got diagnosed with stage 4 small cell lung to brain cancer. And I knew then, I was like, we need something as a family to rally around, something to kind of pick our spirits up. And that's whenever I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. So going into it, that was really the reason why. But as far as what I felt, extreme nervousness, uncertainty, had no clue what I was doing, no clue like what it looked like or anything. But I just dove right in, and one step at a time.
Were any of the songs that you performed dedicated to your mom?
No, not on the show to a degree. But she knew, like, I mean, I was doing it for her, like that was the backbone, so to speak, to everything. you know, the performances, the interviews, um, just knowing that she was there to support was cool. Yeah.
It's counting days since my love pain got lost on me. And every breath that I've been taking since you left feels like a waste on me. I've been holding on to hope that you come back when you can find some peace. 'Cause every word that I've ever spoken since you left feels like a hollow street.
It was the first time I ever did anything like this or tried out for any shows, and it wasn't even local. I think because of the end of season 18 is when COVID started happening. So that's when they started doing performances at home. And that's when they started really hammering down on virtual auditions. So what I did, I set up my phone on a chair in front of a stage with a microphone, nothing fancy, nothing crazy, no editing, just me and my camera phone. And I sang a song and I submitted it, and that's when they got back to me.
Love this song. But does she love you better than I can? I'm in. Yeah, I know it's stupid. I just gotta see it for myself. I'm in the corner watching you kiss her. Oh, oh, oh. And I'm right over here. Why can't you see me? Oh no. And I'm giving it my all. I'm not the guy you're taking home. Oh, and I keep dancing on my own. The moment that changed my life.
That is such a beautiful story. Because a lot of people think they're like, oh, I have to do da 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 da. And eventually that giant list gets so massive that you're just so overwhelmed and you're like, I can't do this, So that's kind of cool to hear that you just set up your phone and you went for it.
Yeah.
And as a mother, hearing that it was all to rally around strength for your mom, I mean, that's so beautiful. And I'm sure that was super touching for her as well. But you made it until the end, and that's got to be so heart-wrenching. How did you overcome that obstacle?
Well, first of all, even to get to where I was, and these aren't just pretty words to say the right thing or to sound, politically correct or anything, but I was just genuinely honored to get as far as I did. Top nine's a big thing. Out of 20 seasons, only 180 people or something like that. I've gotten to that point. Um, and you know, I, when it all happened, and my last time on there, I was actually going through a lot of just personal stuff. I was sick. Honestly, to have a voice for the last two performances was a miracle. Um, I was a little heartbroken, a little relieved, but also in the midst of it, how I dealt with it was I knew that this show wasn't who made my identity, that this was a stepping stone, that this, because you can easily get wrapped up in, you know, a little bit of fame, the idea of TV, the idea of, you know, the music industry and the competition. All these things come at you really fast and really, really crazy, right? Things that you dream of. So what I had to remind myself about was really that, you know, I'm meant to do what only I can. That all these people can sing circles around me, but that I'm not meant to sing like they do. I'm not meant to tell the story like they do or their story. My story's true to me, and that's what matters, and not to get my identity wrapped up in what is after the show, because it's a TV show. It's a TV show first, and it's up to you. They give you a platform and they give you a fan base, but then it's up to you to do the grinding and the work afterwards. Yeah.
All right. So, if we wanted to access any of your upcoming performances or anything that you have recorded, how would we get to that media?
Yeah, so everything right now is on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube Music, all of that. So the songs I did on the show, and some of the songs that I released also with Stevie Benz, are all there on those platforms. But the best ways to keep up with me are my Instagram and TikTok, which is Free_Ward222. And that's where I post a lot of my stuff, and even everyday things. And again, I'm trying to get better at TikTok because I feel old, and learning that process. And but another way is my website, which is corewardmusic.com, and you can look at merch there, upcoming shows. But again, probably Instagram is my biggest platform. Focus during this time is to record originals and put out. Right now, I plan on in the next 60 days releasing my first single, but I have a lot backing up. And I will say I'm really excited because a friend that we might know from a show that I can't talk about might be singing on it. I'm waiting to hear back. So it's really exciting, and I can't wait for, you know, my originals to be out there.
And how do you get started with writing when you're doing originals?
It varies. I mean, there's been times at night where I'll wake up at 3 in the morning, and for some reason, lyrics will just be in my head. And then, you know, there's other times where I'll just play guitar to a certain riff, and then some melody will pop in my head. So, and then sometimes I have a team that helps me. Like I got a writing team that is like, hey, I thought of this, and I'm like, ooh, that fits where I want to go. So it always varies, and I think as a creative, you have to have an open mind to how that goes. Especially as a writer, you just it's like getting a car started. You just got to get it going, right? So just write, no matter if it's crap, like just write, because something good will come, you know. And if you just get buried down in the deep of like, oh, it's not good, then you'll never get to that point. So you just got to keep rolling with it. But that's many different ways that I write. Yep.
Do you have any other advice for any young musicians that might be trying to join a show or trying to get started in the music industry?
I do, for sure. And this is going to be a little bit of areas and sections, but I'll start off with one, just know who you are as an artist and as a person, and know where you want to go. And with that, secondly, is surround yourself with people that truly believe in you and don't want something from you, but want it for you. And just making that solid team and family that have your back no matter what, even when it doesn't benefit them. But also just don't give up on your dreams, because I used to say a no now doesn't mean a no forever. You're going to get a million no's, but it's that one yes that truly matters. And because that's just life. And when you realize that and you realize your identity doesn't rely on other people's no's and it's what you're truly passionate about, you don't stop. Like, regardless of what my music goes to, I will never stop making music because it's something that I love and enjoy and I'm passionate about. So, to all those that are listening or watching or want to hear, if it's something that you love and brings joy to your life, just continue to do it. Find the right people to surround yourself with, and then find the right avenues, because the music industry is tough. Life is tough. But when you do those things right and have those right people, it'll make sense and you know who you are. And then use what's in your hands. Even though I'm not great at TikTok, it is in front of me and it's in my hand, so I'm gonna use that son of a gun. So use what's in front of you, um, and don't give up on it. Don't let no's. I think that's my biggest thing is I know now doesn't mean a no forever, and just go after it because you're gonna hear no a billion times, but it's not the end. So I mean, I got told no on season 19. I don't know if you knew that. I went on season 19 and got 0 chair turns.
Wow.
And they called me back 2 to 3 months later and said they wanted me on the next season. And I was like, you do know I was there and I got no chairs, right? You do know that. They're like, yes, we believe that it was the song. We believe in you. We want you to come back. And so I did. And that's a testament right there. I got to know. I didn't give up. And then I got to top 9, which people can't dream of.
And I feel like that is so big right now, with everything that we've been going through over the past couple of years. It is really easy to get discouraged. So your advice and the way that you put that together, it's really moving, because even, I mean, in the teaching industry, this has been so hard, and it's been so hard to just keep going and keep moving, even though we've had so many obstacles that constantly come up.
I will say one more thing about the just advice for people. Um, Never compare yourself. I said this earlier. The biggest thing about being on The Voice was my own mentality. Was me wanting to compare myself to others, how they sang, what they did, what their image looked like. Man, they look so cool. They know exactly this. They sing so well. They can do this and I can't. Um, do not compare yourself because you aren't meant to sing like them. You aren't meant to tell their story. You're meant to do what only you can and tell your story. So I just wanted to land on that as well because that was probably the biggest challenge while on the show, because you want to compare yourself because you're human, right? And
Yeah.
you're in your head like, oh, I'm not good enough, or they're better than me. That's not what it's about at all. It's about what you're meant to do and what you feel passionate about. So, but
So the question was, do you have anyone who has been an inspiration or who has helped keep moving your music career forward?
starting my music, my dad was a drummer when I was growing up, so that's how it began. But there was many people in the stages of my life that helped me um, do that. Some friends, some close friends, just believing in me, saying, "Man, you really got something special." Some random people telling me the same thing. Um, but if I'm honest, it took me a very, very long time to start believing in myself. Because, those close people, you always think, oh man, yeah, of course you're going to tell me I'm good or this or that. Um, but it just took a long time for me. But I'll tell you this, and this isn't just me saying this, but Kelly Clarkson I mean, she, like, when I was, like, going through it mentally, like, nah, like, I'm not going to do well. Um, she just reminded me, just have fun. Like, go have fun, do what you love to do. And that is so simple as that sounds. I was like, yeah, you're right. This is what I love to do. I need to just have fun and stop being in my head. So many people. I mean, my family, my friends. I can go on and on about who has inspired me in my music career, in my life, and even now. I mean, so if I don't even want to say one specific name because there's so many. And out of love and respect for all of them, they know who they are. So, yeah.
I think it's wonderful that you just have that massive net, that you have all of that support, and that's really inspirational for people to see that they were able to help you get to where you are right now. Do you think that there have been any facets of your journey, either through the voice or throughout your music career, that if you had a chance to go back and do anything differently, is there anything that you would change?
If I were to say that I wanted to change anything, I think I would be lying to myself, because I'm such a advocate for what you go through makes you who you are. Um, and sometimes you need that stuff to help you get to where you didn't even know you wanted to be. Does that make sense? So I honestly, I honestly wouldn't change anything, because I look back at, I started a band while I was 17 through 19. We got like inches away from being signed to a record label. Well, if that would have happened so early, would I have learned and or got lost in that? Would I have got lost in that? I don't know, and I'll never know. But what I do know now is I'm happy and I'm confident in who I am, and also where I'm at in my life and my career. I know exactly where I want to go. So, it's that what if game. I don't want to play that, because there's no reason for me to. I got what I have right in front of me. Now it's time to do the best that I can with what I have. So, for anyone that wants to play that what if game, I just encourage them not to, because there's no point in wasting time, energy, and thoughts on it, because it's only going to create who you want to be, even when you don't feel like it is. It's going to happen. Time is one of those things that really molds you, and sometimes like you don't know where you're going and where you've been or anything, but you'll get there. So if that makes sense. Always.
I think that thinking of time as being a molder and your experiences helping to create where you're going to go, that's very, very elegantly articulated.
Well, and the big thing on that is, I'll say it's you're not going to always see that. Like, you're not always going to feel it either. And you're not even going to know where you're going to be going at times. You're going to be blinded. That doesn't mean you're not going to get to where you need to be. And that's very broad, but it's very true. Like, there's been times where, I mean, not to get too, I was homeless at one point. Like, who knew? And now I am where I am, and I'm the happiest I've been in years.
And they say that about Jim Carrey as well. He's like, I don't like people coming up to me. I don't like them just focusing fandom sort of thing. And he's talked about that as well. He's talked about being homeless and going through all of these major adversities. But if you get stuck in those adversities, you will never be able to achieve your potential.
Exactly.
I think that the way that you're able to kind of see the end result when you get there, a lot of people have difficulty just finding that joy and feeling the gratitude of being in the moment, Are the pieces of shows like that, are they actually as free flowing as they make them seem? Or is there a lot more that is scripted and behind the scenes than what we are seeing?
It is free flowing. Like, I mean, I had no clue who the mega mentors were going to be. I had no clue. Like, there was no plan. Like, you didn't know who was going to turn. All these things, and interviews and interviews. It's not scripted. I mean, they want you. That's one thing I can say about The Voice specifically, only because I've been on there. Is they really want you to be who you are, and they thrive off that, and I think that's what a lot of people are drawn to. Is it's not about, like, if the highlights of life. It's not always about this or the sad moments. It's about truly just who you are. So with the show like that, I mean, nothing was ever scripted. But I think everything matters. I mean, of course, it's television, so your story matters, how you sing matters, how you handle stress matters, and then I think how you treat people matters, because I think one of the reasons they asked me back was because I tried to be, I'll say, I tried to be the most genuine, kind, loving person to everyone I got to encounter, whether that is wardrobe or another contestant or a behind the scenes producer or the band. It's just everybody's in there to do a great job and to show and lift you up. So love them well and be real and authentic.
Did you feel that there was anyone that you kind of felt just in awe getting to meet them when you were on the show?
I mean, can I say everybody? But yeah, yes, but Snoop Dogg was a big shocker. Like, because you truly didn't know. And they were like, no, we are not telling you. Because we were all begging. We're like, who is it? Give us a hint. Like, is it this person? Did they have red hair? Did they have, we'd always, the contestants are like trying to dig. And then the contestants that, went and did it were like, tell us. They're like, nope, we're not saying anything. So when I walked around the corner, if you look at that moment, I think it's still up on either YouTube or Hulu or somewhere.
Old school country musicians used to talk on their records because their voice was so slick that when they said something, you paid attention. Country music talk to people. We feel like it's a connection, like,
yeah,
I hear you, man. It's good when you can hear a song that you heard a million times and then hear it like you never heard it before.
It's interesting when you write something and you don't feel it till years later.
When you can get the songwriter to lose emotional control, that's when you're doing your job, brother. He made the songwriter cry. That's enough said right there.
I'm like, what the? And I like have to cover my mouth. I do that a few times on the show. When I won the top 9, I did that, and I was like, oh no. But that was a big, sweet, cool moment for me, and I was in awe because it's Snoop Dogg.
I cannot imagine that. I mean, I would be very starstruck.
And then I got to sing that very day. I mean, meeting Snoop Dogg is when I sang Kelly Clarkson's song to Kelly Clarkson.
Wow.
Someone's gotta go. Wanted season 20 mega mentor Snoop Dogg said he had chills.
One thing about my emotions, I held my tear right here and pushed it back up.
And Kelly, she was brought to tears thinking about the significance of those lyrics more than a decade later.
When I wrote Already Gone, I was going through something that I thought, it's okay, we don't always have to, it doesn't have to work out. And hearing him sing that to me in my life now, are you like smacking me in the face with my message?
And she cried, and Snoop Dogg was tearing up, and I was like, oh my God, like this is something I'll never forget, And I even made her song Already Gone back on the top 5 pop charts.
Wow.
After I performed it. So it was really cool, man, like to just be a part of that. And I mean, all of them are amazing. So.
And have you kept in contact with any of them since?
Like the coaches? So I will say, I don't know, yes. It's to a degree. Yes, I can say that.
Well, thank you so much for all of this information. This, I think, is very eye-opening, especially for people who are trying to get into the music industry. Do you have any closing remarks or anything you want to add that I did not highlight on?
No, I think the biggest thing, and I may be just repeating myself, is anyone going after any career, whether that's music or this, and you hear it all the time, but go after what you love and don't stop, because then you hear that saying, like, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. There's some very truth in that, and I just can't express it enough to not compare. Go after what you love. And another thing is just loving people well where they are, because you never know what people are going through. Never assume, because just as much as you either been through something or you're hurting or you're struggling with these thoughts or that, someone else is too. And that's why I just believe it's a big message for me, any chance that I get, to encourage people to love people well no matter where they are in their life, because you never know what they're going through. And that's just something I was taught and just learned myself. So, yeah.
Well, I would like to say that you have a beautiful heart, and I feel very blessed for you allowing me to do this interview and for you sharing your story. So thank you again. Oh, what a night. I am so sorry.
Listen, we're in this together. Hey, you know what? We can put bloopers of this episode, you know?
Just at the end, be like, this is time number 2 that everything cut off. Time number 3 when we did not have it recording.
Hey, technology. It's fun.
Oh,
So,
okay.
what,
I don't even know where to pick up. Do we want to go all the way back to... All right, I'm going to go back to platforms, if that's okay, because
Yep.
I don't know where it cut off, and I'm not sure if we recorded this entire time or what happened. I just noticed that I didn't see the green light, so.
Miss J Story Faves.
Miss J Story Faves.
Miss J Story Faves.
Subscribe now.
And like.